Hey, good afternoon, everyone. John Wesley here. Today I'll be taking you through a high-level demonstration of Ziva's sourcing results platform. So let me go ahead and get logged in. Our sourcing results platform is an AI-powered platform that can help companies have a single platform to identify opportunities and manage their sourcing lifecycle end-to-end in a single collaborative environment, all in an effort to minimize external system use or multiple system use while providing what we call corporate memory of all sourcing events that occur within an organization. So immediately upon logging in, you can see the entire sourcing platform is predicated on the idea of an organization setting an overall savings goal. So out of how much they spend, what are they looking to achieve as far as their savings goal? And then that goal is only achieved by identifying savings opportunities, running those opportunities through an effective sourcing lifecycle, and then creating a business case to implement those opportunities into projects that ultimately start driving savings. And so Ziva's sourcing results platform provides a project management style process focus of sourcing to where opportunities need to be identified. And once they're identified, you need to initiate the discussion and get approval to move forward. And once you have approval to move forward with an opportunity, you now need to begin to validate a lot of the key data points of the opportunity, such as how are we going to calculate savings? What's our baseline pricing? How are we going to determine, is it we're just looking at this used to cost me $1. Now I've resourced it and it's 95 cents. So I save 5% on all the items we purchase. Or is it we're actually going to use less of these items by changing over to a different manufacturer so that the overall total cost of ownership, saves us 25%. All of those metrics are very important that they get validated and understood before you move on to actually run a request for quotation or a request for proposal or even an auction, where you can create a competitive environment on a part-by-part basis and allow suppliers to compete to offer the lowest price for each individual item, which all culminates in a savings business case that an organization can sign off on. Now, I mentioned this idea of approvals at the initiation, validation, and business case step. And that's a critical component to any good savings sourcing process, because far too many times without the appropriate technology, sourcing projects will be run within the procurement organization on behalf of the locations of the facilities that would actually consume the goods or services. And because they're not part of the process, by the time the business case is approved and you start implementing, maybe changing products or changing suppliers, you might get pushback from local plants, local facilities, because maybe they're emotionally attached to the previous supplier. Maybe they had really good customer service and they weren't willing or part of the process to change suppliers. Well, the concept here is you make sure you bring those stakeholders into the sourcing process at each individual gate to review the process, to review the details, and to make sure that they're on board so that by the time you get to a point of business case and implementation, there is no pushback. You've proactively taken that out of the equation. And the same thing can be said for reporting the savings. Far too often, savings that you believe are there, procurement organizations won't get credit for from the financial organization because they didn't agree to the baseline. They didn't agree to the total cost of ownership. They didn't agree to a lot of the different metrics. Well, now that can all be mitigated by bringing the financial controllers into the process during the validation stage and getting them to sign on. So how this all operates, it all starts with setting a goal, but really filling up a pipeline of opportunities. And this is where Ziva's Virtual Sourcing Manager AI comes in. So we have the ability to utilize our Virtual Sourcing Manager on a potential customer's historic spend data, and the AI using both internal intellectual property and capital and knowledge from our procurement experts, as well as external data as far as category insights and market analysis and market insights. We can auto surface opportunities, or what we call opportunity identification. And the Virtual Sourcing Manager can surface these opportunities directly into the platform on behalf of the customer. So for example, if the artificial intelligence combed through the data, it determined that there was an opportunity for printers and copiers and accessories. It can pre-populate what the opportunity is. Because of our virtual data manager, it's able to categorize all of the spend. It's able to determine the locations that this opportunity can impact. It can identify how much of the spend is addressable and what the potential estimated savings are based on its market knowledge, and even have the ability to suggest certain suppliers that you're currently using or not using that can help provide these savings. And really all a sourcing professional would need to do at this point is validate that they agreed that they want to run this opportunity, and they simply need to accept it and start the sourcing process. Now, why is that important? Well, two main reasons. The first reason is because it did not require a buyer or a category manager to comb through data to identify this opportunity as being something that maybe they should look at. Instead, the Ziva AI platform, which doesn't only work 8, 10, 11 hours a day, it doesn't need to eat, it doesn't need to sleep, it doesn't need bathroom breaks, is able to comb through this data 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and can automatically determine that this could be an opportunity for savings. And then the second benefit is just the clerical and tactical work of once that opportunity is identified, whether it be by AI or by a human being, the information doesn't need to be keyed into the system. It's already pre-populated by the AI. And really all a sourcing professional has to do is begin the sourcing process. So it's an incredibly efficient tool for helping organizations identify opportunities that maybe were buried in bad data before. And also it frees up a lot of the tactical work that buyers and category managers have to do in sourcing platforms. So that way they can become more strategic in their thinking and execution of the project. Now, going back to the opportunity list, I'm going to go to an opportunity that has a little more detail put in. So you can see every opportunity has a detailed view. Again, the 4 steps and what's been accomplished on each step thus far. But it also brings in that element of project management. So that way, everybody within the organization that can view this opportunity knows exactly what the detailed project plan for starting this project and implementing this project looks like. So they can see, are they on track for each step? Have we fallen behind? And if we've fallen behind, the ability to replan each step, but also require a reason for why there's a delay, or why days are lost, or why days are gained. And all of that information maintained, traceable, and auditable within the system so that people are aware of what's happening on every sourcing project throughout the organization in a collaborative effort. Now, throughout the application, the virtual sourcing manager is not the only AI that's embedded within the platform. At various different portions of the process, the AI can surface information to the users that maybe they hadn't considered before. But with our knowledge of the industry and our embedded intelligence within the platform, we're able to surface recommendations as to certain category vendors or certain vendors within the category that may be worth adding to the event, that may be worth considering, that maybe the buyer hadn't considered just because their past performance was they went to 2 or 3 specific vendors and they hadn't even considered maybe some others that could help them achieve their savings targets. The Ziva AI platform in the sourcing results has the ability to make vendor recommendations and provide insight into what each vendor, their core competencies and their financial strength are. That's done in an attempt to make even your most junior buyer or unseasoned category manager perform like your top buyer or most senior expert category manager. As you move through the process, I mentioned important things such as defining baselines, but not just defining baselines, but also gaining agreement on where the data source will come from, a very important step so that everybody knows how the baseline is being calculated. And furthermore, not just identifying certain target savings, but understanding the different savings types that occur within an organization. Whether it be improvements to cash flow because of better payment terms or reducing inventory or some other customized savings type, or whether it's just a pure operating expense savings because you're doing a price-to-price savings event. So something that used to cost $1, we renegotiated, and now the supplier's providing it to us at 95 cents. That's a pure operating expense savings. There's also things such as discounts and volume rebates and substituting products where customers will allow. So it's this information that when collaboratively captured and reviewed within the approval process keeps everybody on the same page on every sourcing event within your organization, which then allows you to run your events, your competitions, by selecting your suppliers, running your RFQs or RFPs. And those RFQs or RFPs, which before were probably maintained within the customer's environment in the form of Word templates or Excel templates, those templates can now be uploaded and baked directly into this platform so that you reduce that overhead of the procurement organization having to maintain several different templates depending on what category of product is being sourced, because the things that are important when requesting legal service are not going to be the same things that are important when you're sourcing janitorial supplies. So having different templates embedded within the software to allow individuals to leverage makes the process repeatable and more efficient. Our AI can also help identify which suppliers are the most competitive so that when you're negotiating, It can make suggestions as to who should be selected based on both qualitative and quantitative attributes, such as supplier financial risk, quality certifications, lead times, and obviously price points. And once all that information is provided, it can culminate in a business case. Now, business cases are really a culmination of all the information in the initiate, validate, and compete. And when business cases need to be reviewed, there's no longer a need to go to Outlook to set up a meeting or to fire up a Skype or a Zoom or a Join Me meeting or a WebEx. All of that can still be done directly from the platform. So if I'm doing a BCAD, a business case approval document review, we're going to do it for the next hour, and I want to look at two different opportunities, and these are the users. I can schedule that meeting directly from the platform, which is directly integrated with Outlook, so that way it creates calendar invites. And then when the meeting comes, I can now have focused meetings about the opportunities that need to be reviewed directly from the platform in video, audio, or chat format. It allows us to review each individual opportunity and approve or reject as a team directly from the platform. At the end of the review, allows us to identify what was agreed to in the discussion points and circulate meeting minutes and action items. So the overall main focus of the sourcing results platform is, again, to provide that goal setting, opportunity tracking in a single platform so that collectively, collaboratively, an organization only has to operate in one system to achieve the savings goals and to identify the opportunities using Ziva's AI. Thank you for your time. Have a good day.